Tottenham 3, Burnley 0 on the opening day of the Premier League season. The Thomas Frank era gets off in the Premier League to a perfect start. Lots to get into, much improved second half performance, some outstanding individual performances too. A lot to take away from this game. Stay tuned to the end. If you're new, please like and subscribe, and thank you for all the support recently. Let's get straight into it. So overall very good, but that second half was much improved. But to analyse firstly the first half, I think that we got that goal, it was okay, started off okay, everything was okay, but it felt very much like our first game of the Premier League season. Things weren't quite right, the passes, and it was just a bit lacklustre at times. We lacked energy, we lacked control, and at 1-0 we were earning Burnley back into the game. They were kind of having chances, and there's a possibility they could get an equaliser, so we needed that half-time, and frankly, he said a lot half time, because that second half we had a lot more control, we were a lot more aggressive, a lot more energy about us, cohesion. Just that lacklustre bit completely went, and players like Gray, who were passengers in the first half, were a lot more aggressive and in control in that second half. Sometimes too aggressive and give away fouls, but generally most of the time were good. But there were standout individuals in this game as well. But let's go through each goal, which kind of links me to the standout individuals. So really good goals. First goal, Richarlison. I think it's been made easier for him, but Mohamed Kudus linking up with Richarlison, so kind of put on the plate for Richarlison, but still he's got to finish his dinner, so that's a neat goal. And the second goal was just amazing. A typical Brazilian number 9 that was. When have we ever seen that from Richarlison? What performance from him, to be fair, in this game. So very nice goal. Pretty much over kicking it, or they call it like a volley, they're going to call it, but it's an amazing goal either way. And again, a beautiful cross from Kudus, them two combining twice, because Kudus on the day got 2 assists, Richarlison getting 2 goals, so an unbelievable combo. Maybe not quite what Harry Kane and Heung-min Son had, but it's going to be a special combination nonetheless. They've already found a way to read each other's game, and that does really excite me. And I'd argue, Solanke coming back now, he hasn't walked into the team straight away, and he shouldn't. He should be Richarlison, Johnson and Kudus, because that front three's done very well, which leads me on nicely to the third Tottenham goal, which was scored by Brennan Johnson, and very quickly Dubravka was closing down that angle. It's very difficult for Johnson. He's running out of room, running out of time very quickly. A nice little dink, didn't need much contact over Dubravka to make it 3-0. And a tough lesson for Burnley, coming back to the Premier League. Tough lesson for Scott Parker. They only, didn't concede more than 1 goal in a single match in the Championship last year. You're not going to be able to achieve that in the Premier League, conceding 3 goals on the opening day. And Burnley didn't necessarily do anything wrong. It was just the fact that 1-0 they couldn't get that goal to bet them back in the game. We're always going to get better into that game in the second half, and we were punished. So good start to Thomas Frank's reign. That second half was very good, and overall completely dominant performance. But individuals really stood out. Richarlison, as I said, really good against PSG and very good again in this game. And I think we have really 2 strong strikers. We can keep them fit and real good competition. I can see Richarlison becoming a regular starter under Frank, at least offering serious competition anyway for Solanke for minutes. I think he's been very good. It's just, I always do worry though. I always think by the time this recording gets you, will Richarlison somehow be injured? And you do worry about purple patch, etc. But I really want it to work with Richarlison. I think, of course, hopefully every fan does, but he bleeds Tottenham. He gives blood, sweat and tears. He all about the motto "to dare is to do." So you just want it to work, and I think the quality is there. It's just a case of staying fit. It really does suit Thomas Frank. It's a really good performance from Richarlison today. He was here, there and everywhere. Even from set pieces defensively, I just thought was exceptional. He won every header, put his back into it, literally trying to hold up the ball, which isn't his natural strength, and he got better as the game went on. So he was really impressive. Mohamed Kudus, what a player, what a signing. If you weren't sure about him already, we've got that PSG game, we've got plenty of games in pre-season and moments individually. Another game against Burnley today, just absolutely superb, and I think we really have, I'll say it again, pulled down West Ham's pants for £55 million. What a deal that is. Incredible. I think that he's just a really special player. He's some player that something like we haven't got in the squad. We haven't got anyone like Kudus. I like him in midfield, don't get me wrong, and before we signed Paulinho, it's very samey. A lot of players do a very similar job. I like Paulinho and Bentancur, but they serve a similar purpose. A lot of players do a very similar thing. You can't say that about Kudus. Nobody does what he does, which is really exciting. He's dynamic, he's quick, he's tricky, he can get out of these situations. Means we're very good in transitions. I still think we've got a lot more to see from him, but what we've seen early days, very, very promising. As he said himself, it's a marathon and not a sprint though, but I really like what I've seen, and amazing crosses, and as I said, just offers completely something different. Brennan Johnson as well, I feel harsh to him to be Tottenham's last, top scorer in the Premier League last season, and all of a sudden say you don't have your right wing spot. But at the same time, I think for Tottenham it's a lot more effective with Kudus right wing and Johnson left wing than it is Johnson right wing and Kudus left wing. I think you get more out of it the way it is. And Johnson, I have no doubt, is probably better on the right than the left. But for what it's worth, Kudus is just so much better on that right than he is left, and Johnson is just marginally not quite as good, so therefore it's a better gain to Tottenham, I believe. And I think Kudus was left to hang out and dry in that second season at West Ham, because we knew we were getting a player. It's just, we're hoping that it's not the case of last season at West Ham, but it's kind of very evident that a player's got a lot to give, and I think Thomas Frank can develop him into even better player. Look at Bryan Mbeumo with Brentford this very day, the player that Man United signed. Nobody can stop him. We know that Bryan Mbeumo is a problem, but it's just you can't quite put a finger on him. I'm hoping that's what Frank can do with Kudus. That's the signs I get anyway, early days. I mean, teams can't handle it at the moment, but I'm talking about to another level where he's scoring consistently, assisting regularly, and we're in the top kind of best wingers in the world. I think that's where he can get to. I genuinely believe that it's kind of hung out to dry at West Ham. I can understand why West Ham kind of moved him and shifted him to cater for Jared Bowen. I get that, Bowen's class, but at the same time it didn't help Kudus. Kudus was very good in his first season at West Ham on that right when Bowen played down the middle, and at Ajax when he played in the 10 or at right wing. Either he was both very good at, especially at right wing, so that's very good. No, Johnson I think is very good, and at left wing sometimes I thought, you're frustrating, but he has a very different role in this Frank team, expected to take on a player, but he'd done it in this game. He's looking to take on players more, got his goal as well. He made the special night in Bilbao happen, so he should. Of course, we need competition for every place. That's the thing, and fans have got to understand it isn't going to be a set in stone, stonewall style 11 every week. It's going to change. If Kudus is in the team one week, doesn't mean that Johnson won't be the next. We've got plenty of competitions to juggle. But I look at this game also and go, very good, but the squad's still thin, and I thought we looked exposed at times defensively. That changed when Benton, Paulini come on. I was worried about midfield three for large parts. I think it's good to see it. Firstly, if Sarr, I think it's very good to see Sarr, Bergvall and Gray. As I said, Gray passenger in the first half, a lot better in the second half. But I do look at this and go, look, we need more in the transfer window. We need, mainly attackingly, because we lack creativity at times, particularly in that first half. The second half, Bergvall can't be shell a bit more, looking to try and create, go out of his comfort zone to make more happen. But we need more attacking depth. We need definitely a 10 or left winger ideally. So we need creative players, and because the squad's thin, we mainly need quality but also depth, but we need cover also in defensive positions. It's down to Frank, and he's happy. I'm happy, but for me 4 full-backs isn't enough. 3 of high quality if we want to compete on all 4 fronts, literally. I like Ben Davies, but for me he should be a last result. You should keep him for experience, and if you need him, you get an injury crisis, he's there, but mainly his experience helping people settle in. But I just don't think Davies can play left back in this day and age. The game's played very quickly, and I don't mean it horribly against him, but it's very tough to keep up. For me, in my opinion, it should be 2 top left backs, 2 top right backs. Ben Davies is there if you need him to step in. I just see Ben Davies as that needed experience, helps people settle in, doing his coaching badges to keep him in and around an emergency situation, half a dozen games a year to stick him in there. I don't think he should be our backup full-back for Destiny Doggy. But Jed Spencer doing really well at left back. Pat Matessar, let's talk about him. How good again was he in this game, and how good has he been under Thomas Frank since he took charge in pre-season and PSG, and then again this game? He's just been a different player. Question Sarr, what does he bring to the table? He brings a lot here, there and everywhere, gets stuck in, a lot stronger than he was last season. He's a real player. I'd go, he's probably improved the most under Thomas Frank. So a lot of really good individual performances, but overall collectively we won. I do worry a better team who look exposed at times until Bentancur and Paulini come on. But overall, I'm happy, but we've still got a lot to improve on. This is still another message to the hierarchy that we need more. If we sign Eze and Slovenia, this team can go places. We can achieve something special, no doubt about it. So today's a good win. Harsh for Burnley, and their supporters, wish them all the best for the season. I think they're going to really struggle unless they bring in even more reinforcements. But that's my thoughts on the game. Man of the match is really tough. I'm probably going to give it to Richarlison getting 2 goals. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you're needing a massive Common Spurs.